Hey, how's it going? My name is Brendan Mazzoni, and today we are diving into my one-click onboarding automation, and I'm going to show you guys how you can automate your onboarding process so that way you can streamline your client communication, streamline your client business interaction, and ultimately free up your time so you can provide more valuable content to your clients or buy back some of your free time so you can maybe do more of what you want to do, spend time with family or start another business or whatever it looks like. But the idea is that this whole process is going to allow you to do more of what you want to do. So without further ado, let's dive on in. So with one-click onboarding, my blueprint is very simple with the main basis. We are collecting as much client information at the very beginning of at the very end of our sales call. So we're collecting as much information as possible so our salesperson can import that into a form, and essentially using other software or third-party software such as Zapier or Integromat, we can then stitch together all the different programs that you are using inside of your business in an automated fashion that allows you to ultimately have the least amount of your own personal time commitment to that specific thing, so then that way you can streamline your customer's experience. Now, it's easy to kind of talk about it high level and not quite grasp it, so let's dive on in with some specific examples and kind of walk you through this blueprint. So as I was kind of talking about, if we start over here on the very far left, we have our deal close form. Now our deal close form is exactly what we're doing to extract as much client information as possible. Now this can be your customer facing, this can also be your employee facing. So the way I implement it inside the businesses that I work with is I use the same form for either or, so that the salesperson can complete the form for the customer themselves, just to alleviate as much friction as possible and continue this process. Or we can just send that form directly to the client so the client can put in their personal information, card information, select the program, and submit their payment information. So once we have that deal form closed and we submit it and we're gathering name, email, phone, address, credit card, the program and service, we can then submit it and use it. Depending on the software that we're using, we can stitch it together with your payment processor so it automatically charges that person's card. Now, if there's a failed payment, we can update that payment information immediately because we could see that. And then that successful payment can then go and trigger whatever software you're using, whether it's DocuSign or PandaDoc. There's an array of different digital proposal and contract signing platforms out there that you can use. And what we can do is we can automate sending the client that contract with all pre-populated fields, so you don't have to do, or so that completely removes it off of your to-do list or checklist. So as soon as that contract gets sent out, we can then wait, check, and see through automation to see if they completed that signature. And if they did not, we add follow-up sequences in there, touch points, whether that's through email or text messaging, to encourage that client to, hey, you've already paid for this program, please get this contract or proposal signed so we can get you the assets that we need, or get you the services that you paid for as soon as possible. So we add that automated touch point in there, so that way you're not having to manually go through and check who paid, who did not pay, or who signed their contract, who didn't sign their contract, who's ready to move on to the next onboarding step, who's not. We can add all of these steps and checks in there through automated processes that allow us to focus more on revenue generating tasks that will actually move the needle of our business forward. So after that contract is signed, we can then use that signature as a trigger to then grant them access to all of our other digital assets. Whether you're selling a course, whether you're doing info products and giving out a PDF or a book, maybe you're doing codes or snapshots, whatever your product or services that you're selling itself, we can then get them access to those programs immediately and sending them in, whether that's through the form of an email, or whether that's if you're using Kajabi for a course, or if you're using Go High Level for a course, or you just have your PDF housed somewhere, we can actually send them those assets immediately as soon as the contract is signed. So we're not, you don't have to go and check your email to see if they sent it and then maybe remember to send it to them later. Whereas now it's being automated and sent to them, so your deliverability is 100%. Whenever someone signs that contract and actually follow throughs on their part, your deliverability for expectations is 100%. And we can also add checks and wait periods in here as well. If they haven't granted that, or if they haven't accessed your course after you signed, they paid you, they signed the contract, it's been 48 hours and they still haven't even logged into the course, we can add touch points, whether that's through text message or email, to help encourage them to access the material that they've already purchased, right? I mean, they've already paid for all of your products and services, they've signed the contract or the proposal. Let's get them the material that they paid for. The next stage in this blueprint process would be that welcome email. Now, the welcome email and the granting digital access can sort of work hand in hand, right? So that welcome email, that's where you're going to welcome them to your community, welcome them to the program or the service that you're providing. And you're also going to clearly define program expectations. Now, expectations are always set on the sales call, but we need to follow up in that initial email just to reiterate those program or service expectations, so it is clear as day. This is exactly what you should expect in the time frame, and the time frame you should expect it, right? When you put X and Y together, you're going to get answer Z out of it. So just giving them and outlining the program, making sure it's clear how the process works. And then also, if you have a community, whether that's a Facebook group or whether that's through Discord or WhatsApp or Slack, really wherever you're housing your community, essentially most of those platforms are very integratable, so we can automate a lot of that out too. But this is where you would give them access to that. Then you would wait a certain period of time to make sure that they have access to the community, and if they haven't, you could send them more follow-up text messages and emails just to encourage them to dive into the community, dive into the support system that you have developed for them to help get them the results that they're looking for through your service or program. We can also automate out sending text messages and in onboarding forms where you collect all the necessary information and assets from your clients in order to fulfill on their services. Now, depending on your business model and the way that looks for you, it may be a little bit different on what assets you're collecting. If you're a social media marketing agency, you're going to need access to their social profiles, so that way you can get them integrated to their Facebook ads manager, that sort of stuff. If you're more working in maybe the financial sector, you need to be able to collect information like their social security number, maybe bank statements, or however that really looks for you. So the onboarding form is what you would put together, give them the opportunity to, it's basically a questionnaire and also a Dropbox mixed in one. So there are multiple different platforms out there that we can use. Digital forms, I should say, that we can use that will allow us to collect that information. And based on if they've filled out that, whenever we send them the onboarding form, if it's been 24 hours and the only thing preventing us from moving forward with this client is them filling out their onboarding form, is that we can add this check period here, and also a follow-up sequence if they haven't completed the form, to just encourage them again, hey, you've paid for this service, you've already signed the contract, you've gotten access to all of your assets, just complete this onboarding form and we can get moving and get you results as soon as possible. So it's just adding those extra touch points into there that allow you to personalize it with, while at the same time automating it, and essentially taking all of this entire process from the deal close to actually booking an onboarding call, or maybe your process is slightly different than that, but basically going from A to Z and automating it out as much as possible, so that way you can spend more time focused on revenue generating tasks. Whereas without this sort of automated process, it may take you 30, 40 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, half a day to get a client completely onboarded. Most clients I know, it takes them multiple days because there's back and forth, having to remember to touch base with them to make sure that they gather the right information. Whereas now that those clients don't have to worry about that, they can focus on what matters most, and that's generating the results that they're promising to their clients, not making sure that they fill out a form or book this call or they got access or signed that. All of this can be completely automated out without losing authentication in you and your business. So I hope this helps, and I hope that someone gains as much value as possible through this video, and hopefully you can completely automate your onboarding process. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to see if I can help you out in developing your automated onboarding process. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. See you later, homies.